Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, da doo-dah day.
Hello, folks, and welcome to Last Man Standing. I'm Dan Hollifield. If you did not get to see tonight's Stupid O'Clock, we were off to a rocky start, but then we finally caught some steam and got rolling right along. But it was pretty much par for the course for our particular group of folks that are Stupid O'Clock. Yes, there's no excusing us, but that's all right. Now, if you're watching this and you decide that you like it, go ahead and like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. It's not like I'm trying to gain a larger audience here. This is basically if you like this, it's going to be the same just about all the time. It's I started to say no holds barred, but no, that's tomorrow night in a totally different venue. We do have a few bars to hold, so we can't be totally footloose and fancy free, but we can edge right on up to the barrier and flip at the finger a few times, but that's about as close as we're going to get. And with me tonight, I've got Joe Bachman, I've got Aunt Donna, and I was worried that Dawn was not going to be here, and then I heard the ding, and Rich as well. So we've got a full house, or as well, 5 aces anyway.
So what do you call this act? I call it the aristocrats.
I see a full house, 3 kings and 2 queens.
Well, there we go.
Well,
I am an
nicest thing
empress.
anybody ever said to me.
Come on, Donna, work with me here on this situation.
I am operating on little sleep.
What is this sleep of which you speak? I've been
happy
going to
users.
bed at like 2 a.m. since the change to daylight savings.
What is this
And getting
bed
up
you
at
speak up?
it's the thing in the other room that's warm and comfortable and has my wife and the dog in it, and I'm you know,
Well, I thought you were
Nope.
talking about your wife was the one that was warm and comfortable.
well, she's
She is.
warm. She's very nice to be around.
Going back to what you were saying about stupid clock, Dan, you could say we really stepped on the gas at some point.
That's one way of putting it.
I do believe that there was an OSHA violation in there somewhere that we didn't get cited for that we probably will sometime in the future, but
Several that I can remember from my 10-hour OSHA training.
I was trying to distract Joe, and apparently it didn't work enough, Dan. Next time I'll try to do better.
Joe gets
wait
on
a
a
minute.
roll.
You got to clarify.
Yeah.
Joe Dog or Joe Bachman?
Joe Bachman.
Oh well, yeah.
Oh.
You could distract Joe Bachman. Yes.
I was.
So
You cannot distract Joe Dog once he's got his mind set on something. It's like a steel
It's like your
trap.
Chihuahua.
A chihuahua with your steak.
Well, he
So
kind of
I've been-
compared himself to the height of a chihuahua tonight. Oh, look.
Ginger armpits.
At least it's his armpit.
Did my
I'm ready
voice
for
do
my
that
close-up,
again?
Mr. DeMille.
What the hell?
Oh! I started talking. The cat's trying to climb the screen. I have that effect on Carl and Donna's cats. I start talking and they go, oh, we hear him. Where is he? Where is he?
He's like, I got up here.
Yeah,
Right
I've been attempting to multitask this evening. Between being on stream, I was remoted into Dawn's laptop, giving it the once over, and trying to work on a grant for the park.
Well, just look at you go.
That's why I said I was trying to distract him from, making sure you guys weren't doing all the OSHA violations.
Hey, we were counting on him to keep us from it, but no.
Oh,
That's
right.
okay.
He's the one that keeps us safe.
Oh, if I'm the one that keeps you safe, you have
We're all
so many more
screwed.
issues. So many more issues.
What part of being
No
me
comment.
did you not understand?
Well, okay, what part of Dan being Dan, me being me, Joe Dog being Joe Dog, and John being John?
If I am the voice of the reason for that group, that show is doomed.
Yes.
That show has
yes,
been
we
doomed for a
are.
long time now.
It probably will last for another 20 years.
Right?
And then just imagine if we threw Tucker back in the mix.
Oh, good Lord.
No.
Well, I monologues are us. Yes. And not to say anything bad about Nick. He is a force of nature, and I love him dearly. But the boy can run on.
Yeah, trying to just not from a conversation with Nick is
Go ahead. I'm letting you measure the rope and tie the knot. You just go right ahead, stick your head in it and grin.
so Matt Mitchell, and it's a Southern thing, y'all, or whatever the thing he was with before.
Mm-hmm.
Their running gag about Southern goodbyes being extremely long-winded and take a long period of time and stuff like that. I'm watching those and I'm like, that's me trying to say goodbye to Nick.
Minnesota goodbyes are longer.
I don't know.
Illinois Hicks are pretty long.
We'd be sitting there.
And I'll admit it's not completely Nick's fault either.
We'd be sitting there visiting somebody up in East Tennessee, and Daddy'd decide it was time for us to go. And he would get up and walk to the door and put his hand on the doorknob And that's when everybody in the family knew it's going to be a good 30 minutes before he actually turns the doorknob and opens the door.
And then they follow you out to the car.
Oh, yeah.
And
Wait,
you've been
wait,
in the
see-
car for another 35, 45 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Before you even get to the doorknob, Minnesota Goodbye's already got 30 minutes of just, well, I got to get to going.
Mhm.
Clapping their hand on their knee. And that's not
We-
even, that's just, I got to go. And then there's another half hour of,
Well, we weren't talking about the prologues. We were just talking about the sologues.
that's all part of it.
And
Oh,
then
yeah.
you open the car door, and then it's another 30 minutes. And then you got to jump the battery because you've let the battery run down because the dome light's been on the entire time because the car's been open and you haven't had a chance to turn the ignition.
And the kids are chasing each other around and around the car. So it's going
And
to
you tell them to get in there.
It's going to take even longer because they stop chatting and go, get in the car. And
then you get in the car, you look in the back seat. One of their kids is in your back seat, and you're missing one of your kids. So you got to go back in the house and find the right kid.
And then do hostage exchange.
Since there was just me, my parents didn't have that problem. It was just getting me in the car. However, huh?
Sorry, go ahead.
So
go ahead
not
with what
touching
you were
that
going to
line.
say because it's connected with the.
Get me in the car was really easy. All my mom had to do is, Richard David!
Yeah.
And both Dad and I would just slide in the car.
Well, if she could, two stones, one sentence.
Well, yeah, as long as Dad was saying get in the car, we ignored him. It's when Mom says get in the car, you oh yes, ma'am. No, I've had a sleepless week, but for a good reason. Let me backtrack a minute. Dawn, do you know that I'm adopted?
Yes.
Okay. I was 6 days old when my birth mother when my parents picked me up. About 5 years ago, My Heritage they had kind of like a contest. For adoptees. Write your story. 1,500 adoptees will get free DNA testing. So I tried it. I won it. Half the DNA that I went into their bank so they could check it against other people. The other half went into checking my ancestry, which is how I know about my Scandinavian and Celtic background now. And every once in a while, I get notices. Oh, this person's a fifth and sixth cousin. Last Sunday, and you can, if you pay to be part of the group, you can get messages. Last Sunday, I had a notice that I had a message from this person. And of course, the question is, how are we related? I have no idea. This is the information I have. This is my biological father's name. This is my biological mother's name. This is where they lived in 1956. And that's all I know. And she writes back, you are my grandma's sister. She's been looking for you. Yeah.
Oh my God.
As far as I knew, I'm a product of an affair. As far as I knew, nobody's family had been told about me. And there's part of me that went, well, she should have asked her mother because her mother contacted my parents first to tell them that she was pregnant and if it was a girl, would they adopt me? Because she knew they were looking for a little girl to adopt. And things worked out. But evidently she never told them who she gave me to. I have 5 sisters and 4 brothers.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I gave this girl,
Not counting.
I gave my niece my uh, address, my email address. Monday, I get an email from my sister, and it was hardly readable because she was about as flummoxed as I was. And
Wow.
so I said, yes, I would be way willing to meet. Uh, I can't conceive because I was told Violet had 2 sons. And she has all these other kids I hadn't heard about. I haven't heard back from them yet, probably because they're trying to comprehend just as much as I am. I called my brother because I wanted him to know how much I loved and appreciated him, and that he would always be my brother. And he thought that was great news, and he's like, well, after you've met them for a while, I'd like to meet them. I'm like, okay. And then I'm meeting with my niece and nephews on Saturday to tell them, because I feel I need to tell them face to face rather than, because once we get something going, I'm going to post about it on Facebook.
Right.
Hmm.
But I'm just gobsmacked.
I can see why.
Well, hopefully it goes well.
Yeah.
I also these people just seem to be so super excited, and I'm like, I never dreamed anybody knew about me, much less was looking for me. Violet died several years ago. Bob, my biological father, died 7 years ago. And like I said, I never thought that their kids knew anything about me. So this is exciting and terrifying at the same time.
I can see that.
Wait till they find out you're a world famous author.
Mm. As long as Nick doesn't tell them I'm a hedonistic fae like he told me that I was last week.
What did he say? I went to bed right before it because I was exhausted.
I was so disappointed that my headset ran out of juice before we got around to going, well, what's your opinion today? And I'm going, oh, I would pay good money to have charged that headphone fully before I got on the show.
Yeah, he pretty much nailed it. He says, people think you have no F's to give, but you have one big F to give, and watch out when you give it. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I can see that. But
I'm
when he
almost
called
afraid
me
to know what he would have said about me.
when he called me a hedonistic fae, I'm like, okay, I can see the hedonistic.
Is there any other kind? Oh,
But it was fun, and like I say, he got a lot.
I'd really be interested in Nick's read on me, especially after all these years, and I'd be interested in Carl's read on me too.
Oh Lord, I'd be afraid of Carl's read on me.
Well, after what I saw this week, Rich,
That boy's a serial
when I
killer.
was-
Just look and see. Look at how narrow his eyes are set.
when I was just scrolling
piggy
and
eyes
listening
he is.
to you,
Oh,
I don't ever want to make fun of a meme of yours ever.
I Oh, go ahead. It's fun. The Fallout's a little. You got to wear a special suit, but the Fallout's all right.
Didn't you see that, Rich?
Which one?
I don't think you did.
Evidently.
I was listening to your late night ramblings.
Late night
And-
reminiscence.
Thank you. And I was scrolling through Facebook as I was listening, and I happened to stop somewhere. I was reading a meme, and I look up, and the way it lined up perfectly, you should go on Facebook and look up. I think I put it in Uncle Carl's group. I'm surprised you hadn't seen that yet. It was like, I'm never making fun of a meme from Rich, ever.
That's all right. He can take it.
I know we can, but it was just like the
He prefers to dish it out, but he can take it. I say, son. Damn, I am old. I'm now quoting Looney Tunes from before I was born.
Joe's looking at it too now, I think. Maybe.
Yeah, I found it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now he's distracted again. So
I know. There must have been a squirrel that scrolled.
Who, me?
no, Joe Bachman.
No, yeah, I'm messaging with the vice president of our parks board, going over this.
He's busy multitasking. Yep, he's messaging a very important person. He's here, and he's trying to figure out the next thing he's going to burn into his piece of wood.
Which I still say should be a
I
quarter
think
Ouija
Rich
board.
just saw it.
And that's just on the left-hand side of his brain. On the right-hand side,
You don't want to know.
There is no right side to my brain. Wait, that doesn't sound right.
no, I think you
that's
said
why
that
we're
exactly the way you meant it. No, that was a Freudian slip there.
You sure it wasn't in Youngie and Teddy?
I either didn't hear that right, or there's a whole brand new kind of porn that just opened up to me.
So you heard what I did then.
Okay. A Freudian slip. You've heard of Jung, the
Yeah,
psychologist.
Carl,
Okay.
Carl Jung. Yeah.
If Freudian
When you say
has
one
a
thing, you mean
slip,
your mother.
then Jung has a Teddy. So it's a Freudian slip and a Jungian Teddy.
A Jungian Teddy?
Teddy, yes. You know what a Teddy is, don't you?
Yes.
Not the bear, the thing the women wear.
I used to sell those.
Mm-hmm.
I used to wear those.
Unfortunately,
So, which
I don't
psychologist
know.
gets
Let
the
me
Camisole?
rephrase that. Fortunately, they didn't wear them long when I was concerned. But
So I don't know if it's the fact that I'm trying to multitask, or I'm trying to multitask and I have had a little bit of Bird Dog peanut butter whiskey tonight.
or it's just the fact that you're with us.
And it could be a combination of all three. But each time you've said that, Donna, I swear to God, it sounded like you said Yeti and a titty.
Well, I got a
That's-
Yeti right here.
That's a whole nother
Now-
story.
Now Keisha has just invented a second drink.
And I'm supposed to get some of that peanut butter moonshine.
Ooh, that'll be good.
Yeah, they go on vacation this week, and
Bird Dog makes a good little peanut butter whiskey that I've been sipping
Bird
on
Dog.
tonight.
Bird Dog is good whiskey. It's pretty good for flavored whiskey.
Mm.
So, Rich, I will never report a meme of yours ever. I promise.
Well,
Please tell me you
Okay.
found that post, Rich.
I know. Have you
Yeah.
found it? Oh, okay. I'm like, it just lined up perfectly, and I'm like, wait, what?
So I take it the window with me was the player as you were scrolling through?
Well, the very top, yeah, because I went to read the bottom, and then I went to scroll back up to the top, and you were just sitting there. I'm like, wait, Richard had a meme? Wait a minute. And then I realized, I'm like, no, he's talking to me.
Is this
I'm
the
like, oh, I
point
got to
where
screenshot that.
is this the point where I say roll for initiative and it doesn't? It makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
Well, I don't have my D10 on me.
Moving right along.
I just love it that I think I'm over the rock's face.
Yes, you are.
You are.
Yeah, you're over the rock space. He's the one that says, originally it said, did you see my meme? And the chick said, I reported it. And he looked at her. Then Vincent looks at him, and then he accidentally blows her head off. But that wasn't her in the original movie. It was the other,
Mhm.
Yeah.
So between you, The Rock, or Vincent, I won't report anything because somebody will hurt me.
No one would dare hurt you. You're entirely
I would
too
hope not.
precious. Aunt Donna, don't try and prove me wrong here. Because
Yes.
Aunt Donna will hurt people for fun. Ah.
She's mad
Remember
at me
your-
though tonight. Aunt Donna is.
And what?
Oh,
She's mad at me tonight
Why?
because I was teasing you with my pie.
Oh yes.
Shut up, Joe. I realized it came up after it.
I like Nano Pie.
Joe.
I
I don't even
a nice
have the screen up right now.
Of course, did you see what I did have this morning?
That brownie
yesterday
thing?
morning. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
That
God, that's such a decadent.
Was this tall and about that big.
Oh,
Brownie on the bottom, marshmallow,
Get
and
out
then
of my brain, Rich.
layer about that thick of hard chocolate with what was like Rice Krispies in it. It was like a s'mores only with Rice Krispies instead of the usual
Rich,
stuff.
are you okay?
No.
How tired I was this morning at 9 o'clock. I was freaking out trying to get to the computer because I'm like, oh shit, I'm late for never mind the furthermore. It's Thursday.
Mhm.
You're
I
real
didn't-
late because that was yesterday.
Or
No,
really
I was-
early.
I was really early because I thought it was Friday. And then I flipped over to Nerd Bacon.
He's not going to be on Nerd Bacon for a while because of his blood pressure.
Nick picked a good week to not continue on with Nerd Bacon.
Oh.
The incel was strong with this one.
There are
that's
times when I'm
good.
really glad I'm either at work or sound asleep during the daytime.
Because he was still a little shaky yesterday.
Hey, but the first 15 minutes of the show provided some good comedy.
Oh, yesterday morning?
Me trying to run the show.
Hey, you did a good job.
You
And, you know,
didn't do
honestly-
badly for
You did
on,
good.
on the
Where'd he
spot.
hide that? These things need names, Nick.
Actually, didn't you say something about I got to rename some of
I
these?
did. I did. I'm looking through the list. I'm like, my God, I got to go through and rename some of these for you.
K327 ARB-2- Now, wait a minute. What does
Well,
that mean to anybody?
I'm looking for the opening intro, so I'm looking for because it shows like the little
Thumbnail.
image of the video, little thumbnail of the video.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for the one that shows like never mind the furthermore, or the opening, like the very first opening scene of it, not the damn picture of the manatee, because it's labeled as like Nick Temp 2022 or something. I don't know what the hell that means. So before I hit live, I'm clicking on a few different videos that I think might be the opening credits, and I'm Nope, that ain't it. Maybe this one. Nope, that ain't it. Shit. I saw the manatee. I'm like, good. Is that it? Click.
That's it.
Who would have thought it
Thank
would have been
God.
the manatee?
Oh, the huge.
There's my ride.
Oh,
No, I think that one was a flying saucer, Donna. You don't want to catch that one.
I would get me the hell off of this rock.
The
Somebody-
in-flight catering is crap.
some people are into those probes, and I don't judge.
That was a great face,
Do you know how
Don.
many people intergalactic anal probing employs? Sorry, that's from a kid in
Anybody
the Hall
that's
skit.
never seen this before, this is typical. Just lie back and think of England. It'll be over soon.
I've spent a good portion of yesterday and today watching Ultraman, Spectre-Man, Space Giants, Gamera.
Whoa, that's a combination. Now, I admit I have gone through everything I can find about Ultraman, although there are still some of the live action things that I have yet to experience, and I know they're out there, and I know there's like more of them than there are
I think
molecules in a cloud, but
I think there's 31 different flavors of Ultraman out there.
Mhm.
Ultraman, Ultra 7, Ultraman Max, Ultraman USA.
I even accidentally found the animated.
And funny enough, Ultraman USA is not American.
Okay.
Ultraman
There's been
USA
advertising.
Ultraman USA is actually a Japanese production. And I'm just like, that's kind of weird.
Mm, I don't know.
Even though Hanna-Barbera had a hand in it, it's not in English.
I don't want to know where Hanna-Barbera had their hand in it, but
Well, at least it wouldn't be where
Dr.
Jim
Dream.
Henson had his hand in it. Hell,
that might actually have been better off.
Clifton was feeling ultra. Never mind.
Oh
And
my.
the first time Kermit saw his X-rays, he goes, "What?"
Oh crap.
Oh. This is why the people at work think that I am
Amusing.
there's
eccentric was the word I was looking for.
a hilarious comic by the name of Charlie Barons.
I know him
Ooh.
well.
So have you seen the one where it's lies said in the doctor's office, and then it's the one guy up on the thing, and he gets up to like 27 lies at the end or something by the time everything is said and done, and he's like, you're not going to tell anyone about the cucumber, right? And then it shows the doctor, and the doctor goes, no, I would never do that. And then the doctor's lie count goes to 1. I like watching the collaborations between him and Dude Dad. They are some of the best ones out there.
I have been okay. Set the scene. There are several people in England, Ireland, Scotland, thereabouts, that have been doing reactions to American comedians like George Carlin. There's a couple of very highly trained vocalists and vocal coaches that have been doing reactions to classic bands from 20 years before they were born, which is, our stuff. And they just basically they hit play, and within about 35 seconds, it's like, pause. It's like someone's universe just opened up before them, or somebody's paradigm just shifted without a clutch. I mean, seriously. There was a little bit of grinding gears going on in there, and I don't know, but somebody just had their eyes opened, and hopefully for them it was in one of the good ways. But there were about 4 different people that professed that they had never heard of George Carlin before,
Oh, poor. Oh,
and
kids.
they got into some of the angry George stuff from his later years, and then they dived back into philosopher George from back when he was younger and much I won't say calmer, but happier on his stage act. George himself is always a really nice guy. It's just on stage he's got material that is either presented as being from an angry point of view, or a stoner point of view, or just this deeply philosophical. Why do words do that? I don't understand this and this and this and.
Totally need to sit Crow down in front of some George Carlin and record their reaction.
I don't know exactly which direction to advise you there, whether you should go from end of his career back towards the beginning, or start in the middle, or start at the beginning and go up. But
I'm very familiar with a good portion of his discography, so it's like Candy Store.
I would say start with football versus baseball.
Oh yeah,
because that's kind of a nice ease into kind of what kind of.
Why would you want to ease into it? Sometimes you just want to.
I think the More Than Happy.
Donna.
I
didn't say it.
Crow was a child.
would be more.
No, she's not. No, they're not. They're what, 15?
They're 15, okay. And they've been exposed to me their entire life.
See?
Have they ever reported a meme that you posted?
No, they're still living.
No, Crow is very smart.
I would say it would be safe to start at any point. However, if you start with the early George in a suit in black and white on some of the shows back in the day, they might get Weatherman. Hippy Dippy Weatherman, Indian Sergeant.
Hippy, More Than Happy, and then slip in 7 words you can't say on television.
Yeah, that one has to be unexpected.
Exactly.
Can I say those?
We're not on television.
We're not on television. I mean,
then again, we're not in the green room.
Dan doesn't care about monetization, so
that's true.
Really,
and we're past the first 30 seconds of the show.
Believe me, if I started off every show with that without getting a copyright strike, we'd have a whole lot more viewers. A place for my stuff. Thank you, Chris. Yes, that's a great one. That is one of the not angry, but still in the period that he was doing the angry George.
And then also
when he goes on vacation, and then you
foods. I don't eat bicycle tires. Why would I eat little pink ones? Talking about tomatoes.
Tomatoes, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, but
I was a picky eater. Yeah, that one.
And then what would be really great there is, I think it was Bobcat Goldthwait had one on food as well about, or no, maybe it was George Carlin still about Ret asshole.
Makes a hell of a fondue.
That might. Yeah, I think so.
That's George. Yep. There's always that guy. He'll eat anything. He'll eat anything. Just
I love Carlin.
I really love this. And that's
I
Rhett's
loved
asshole,
always-
Don. Well, it makes a hell of a fondue.
I love Carlin. I loved always stand up. But if I got to say what's my favorite thing, it was his sitcom, the episode where he refused to repeat when it came to shampoo, rinse, repeat. And everybody around him was getting sick. But he wasn't, because he was kind of the he was just the carrier until they finally grabbed him and threw him in the shower and did what you're supposed to do with the shampoo. You shampoo, rinse, repeat.
Is that the
but
one
they
where
never
he's a
say
cab
when
driver?
to stop.
Is that what?
The sitcom. He was a cab driver, right?
Cab
Cab driver or bar owner, one of the two.
I think he was the bar owner, or else he was just in there a lot. Because it was
I
mostly
couldn't remember if he was a
in the
cab
bar.
driver and just going to the bar a lot, or if he was the bar owner.
Oh, I could just see
I
that
can't
as a
remember
variation of Cheers. The
that
bar
was
where
early
no one gives a
90s.
fuck what your name is.
Yeah, that's the kind of boy Carl likes.
If your money's green, I don't care what you drink. Just don't make me call the police on you. Well, it would work better if I drank it from the end that actually had the opening.
I have a drinking problem.
Surely you can't be serious.
Yes, I'm serious, and don't call me Shirley.
My mom hated that line with a passion.
I imagine so.
Kind of like
I can't tell you how many times I got my ass kicked for doing it too.
And we know exactly which line that Dawn doesn't like.
Mm-hmm.
Although there's probably a long line of guys that would welcome waking up at that hour. You know what I mean?
Carl would be one of them. Hey, you got a nice butt.
Well,
Hey.
thank you.
Misty's middle name is Dawn, and I wake up to the crack of that every day.
Braggart.
Oh dear.
Yes,
Oh, my
folks,
God.
we are like this at home. Just not at family reunions with grandma unless grandma's really open-minded.
I don't have a grandma, so I can be anything I want at the family reunion.
You probably will wind up being grandma at one time.
It
Be a little hard since I don't have kids.
Doesn't
And
matter.
if you're-
You've adopted everybody.
It would depend on which of my grandmothers.
Mm.
My mom's grandma would have loved it. My mom's mom would have loved it. My dad's mom was a Seventh-day Adventist, so not so much.
Do you guys ever seen the movie Exit to Eden?
Sounds
No.
familiar.
Got Rosie O'Donnell, Dan-
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes.
We actually watched that at Thanksgiving with my family, the whole extended family.
My
I'll
grandmother,
be right back.
my grandmother Miller was raised on a southern plantation. So no, you wouldn't have done that with her. I mean, she's the one that told my mom, think of something else and it'll be over soon. My father's mother was just a bitch with a stick up her butt. So I wouldn't want to do anything with her.
Grandma Elliot looked like a sweet little old lady, but she could curse to make an Irish sailor blush. When she learned that I was taking German, she taught me all the German swear words.
Do you remember the German swear words?
Scheiß.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. I have a book that has all the dirty German words in it.
And then I managed to talk my German teacher into teaching me how to say "and the horse you rode in on." So after he taught me that phrase, I'm like, oh, so it's wie tief und das fällt an die Seite. He's like, what? No, Richard. I'm like, come on, Rose. You knew that's where I was going.
Oh, Chris, I hope our room is very close to at least the patio, because Carl plans on being really drunk this year. And since if you don't have a wheelbarrow, we're going to need to be close to walk him.
I'm just imagining you walking him with his collar and his leash.
I have been a dominatrix,
That does not
Do you
surprise
have pictures of this? No.
I don't know. I don't know.
Aunt Donna, Aunt Donna, it's no problem. I always keep a hand truck and some bungee cords in the van. As long as you can get him to stand upright, we can strap him to the hand truck and roll him up the hill.
That's just it. And we got to keep him from going down, because once he goes down, well, we can just push him under the table and he'll sleep.
I don't care what his personal preferences are. We're not talking about going down here. We're talking about keeping upright.
Oh, it'll be like when he's in his office, and he ends up on the floor under the desk.
He's just looking for you.
Yeah, you're the one that said he likes to go down.
Why do you think we've been married 35 years?
Rich is like, I give up. I'm just putting this gosh darn sign down.
Sorry, but you're in the room with
I invited a guy from work to watch us this week. Oh my
God. I have felt
you should have known better.
He thought I was cool. He's not gonna think I'm cool now.
This morning I went for breakfast with Michaela, and about halfway through, all of a sudden my back started hurting, my hip locked up, and I was like, oh, this is not going to be a good day. Drove home. We were eating breakfast at her place of employment.
The Busy Corners.
It was a restaurant.
Made you look.
An excellent restaurant, but their chairs aren't the best.
No, well, we sat in a booth, so.
Oh, I can't.
Shut up, Rich. So we
in the corner in the back in the booth in the dark.
But I came home and it's been raining, and it's this cold rain. Yes. It's just this steady rain, and it has been killing me today. And yeah, it was a rough day. So this is like actually the first time I've laughed since this morning.
Oh dear. Okay, I've got to treat it gently. It's in a strange place, but I just had a thought. Rich.
Uh-oh.
Have you had any
my lawyer tells me to say no.
Have you had any sort of inkling as to when it would be the right time to introduce Crow to Richard Pryor's classic material?
Actually, funny enough, last year when we were moving, it was shortly after we had gotten My Traverse, and My Traverse came with a free 3-month subscription to Sirius. And I was on one of the stand-up stations, and Crow was riding back and forth with me as we were dropping stuff off and taking stuff to my dad's and stuff like that. So they had a special Richard Pryor kind of extravaganza type thing going on at that point in time. So she's had to sit there and listen to Richard Pryor for long stretches.
When you run down the street on fire, people tend to get out of your way.
Yeah.
That was not a very pleasant period of his life, but he turned it into some excellent comedy. I would also recommend Gallagher as being more family friendly.
Are you kidding me? Have
no,
you
I'm
seen
not.
him live?
Yeah, well, not live, but I've seen all of his recordings.
Yeah, live.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it exactly.
Well, there was live recordings. I mean, it was HBO and one of the other extreme movie channels and things like that, and it was pretty much him being him. I mean, this was before the argument with his brother and the lawsuit and things like that.
But he opened for Kenny Rogers one year when my high school best friend and I
used to be a neighbor of mine,
and
Kenny Rogers.
We're like, this is okay. It's kind of like his TV shows, but did he mean what he's? Did you hear what he said? Yeah, I heard what he said. You know what he meant? Yeah, I think I know what he meant. Then he talked about boobs falling off at the knees.
Oh yeah. He's talking about women don't understand what it's like for a man to go bald. It's like if your boobs slowly slid down your chest and past your hips and down and then finally popped off at the knees, and I'm going.
Let's just say he used some language that I had not heard him use on his TV show. It was funny. I mean, we weren't offended. We were just kind of surprised.
He was always funny. Nice seats, huh?
That reminded me of a meme I've seen of old lady standing there in front of her husband in a nightgown, and he looks at her and goes, "So are your knees swollen? You forget to put a bra on again."
One of my favorite bits from his stand-up was from Howie Mandel. It was actually done at the Holiday Inn, when it still existed in Maryville. It was a New Year's special that was taped, and he was talking about a bunch of stuff, and then he yells out to the crowd, "So, ladies, you think we're fucking idiots?" And the women all just go wild. And he's like, "Last time I checked, we were fucking you." And then you just hear all the guys go wild. And me and my friend Don just looked at each other and were like, "We know who didn't get laid that night."
This is true.
So how much?
Go back to Richard.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah,
Go back to Richard Pryor. He's from here, from where I live, Peoria.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of history and stuff. Well, it was kind of funny is that Ted and I, we lost track of each other for like 2 years. And I ended up calling him when Richard Pryor died and said, "Hey, I'm sorry to hear that he died," because I knew he was a huge fan. And that's actually what got us talking again, was Richard Pryor passing away.
Oh,
yeah, Pryor is...
That's very sweet. I don't want to say it's romantic because it involves somebody dying, but that was very sweet.
Almost a god when it comes to comedy, because he really did change the face of comedy, which was mostly doing bits and stuff like that, and turned it into stand-up philosophy.
Mm-hmm. Oh Lord! Now I got to try and dredge a memory out of my brain. This is going to hurt.
I'm a stand-up philosopher. Oh, you're a bullshit artist. Did you bullshit last week?
Yes, give me my unemployment check, okay? Ah, Lenny Bruce.
Oh yes.
That was one that I had never heard of until the biography movie came out. And then I went, why did. Okay, I see why I've never heard of this guy in my entire life. He had absolutely nothing left to give as far as
He had
caring
no
about
filter,
anything. None
none
whatsoever.
whatsoever.
And could not tone it down to save his life, even when there was a room full of cops waiting to bust him for saying one word that they could possibly charge him with obscenity. And then he went ahead and spoke in the vernacular and did the routine and go, see y'all when I got bail money. Um, and that was another life that was destroyed by the bad kind of drugs. Now, I'm sorry. I see the world in various shades of gray and some
Hmm.
interesting purples and blues and ambers, but um, there, to my mind, there is drugs that don't harm people and drugs that do harm people, and the ones that do, I really wish nobody had ever invented, but they were invented and they have destroyed lives. But then again, those same things, those same horrible drugs, allowed some very, very, very creative people to explore their creativity in ways that led to very classic, beautiful things. And then they had a hard time kicking the habit so that it didn't destroy their lives. Uh, there have been many, many musicians who have been extraordinarily influential on everybody's life from the time that they first were discovered until the day they died, and even still past that. There have been many comedians, many artists, many actors in the same situation. And the ones that manage to kick the self-destructive habits and keep on going without that um, self-medication went on to influence many more lives. And the ones that couldn't, we've got just a little teeny tiny snippet of what they were actually capable of producing. And if they had been able to rid themselves of that self destructive habit, we would have had so much more. I mean, so much more. And sorry to quote David Tennant there. I didn't think I was doing it until I did, but uh, I just thank the gods that Ray Charles was able to give up a heroin addiction and kept playing until he couldn't play anymore. Lenny Bruce killed his ass. Um, and you could go on. You could pick a bunch, do the biographies. You find out what went wrong and what the cause might have been and what the after effects were and whether or not they were able to overcome their demons or whether they eventually succumbed to their demons or whatever. But the creative mind is oftentimes running in overdrive for so long and so fast and so hard that some of this stuff looks tempting for a while. And some people don't succumb. Some people do. Some people are able to kick the habit. Some people die from it. There's a there's one artist that did the most fantastically detailed paintings of things that if you see it nowadays, it's just absolutely astounding. This was um, more than a century ago. And then you want to find out more about this guy, and you look him up, and most of that astounding artwork was when he was locked up in a mental institution because he was bug nuts, just absolutely crazy, not able to cope with the real world in any way, shape, or form. Um, but an astounding painter. I mean, just made Hieronymus Bosch look like somebody that did Sunday funnies in the newspaper. That sort of detail, that sort of insane attention to everything, but it was all tied into the fact that he was crazy and somewhat slightly dangerous. So had to lock him up. Now, I can't remember the gentleman's name now, but there was a Queen song named after one of his paintings called the Fairy Feller's Masterstroke. And it reminds me quite a lot of Hieronymus Bosch, who his sanity was suspect too in my book, but I ain't writing that book, so we can skip over that part. But and I look around and I see all the crazy people that I hang out with, and some of them are brilliant, and some of them are just the salt of the earth, and some of them are just as normal can be.
And then there's us.
No,
I was waiting for that.
nope. And we're just right in there along the spectrum. We're all various shades of crazy. You have to be creative, because if you're not, other people kind of convince you to stop creating so that you can be what their idea of normal is. And believe me, their idea of normal is very boring. I would much rather be as insane as I am and turn out the kind of work that I do and harm no one. Harm no one. That's my important thing. Not even myself, much as I'd like to sometimes. Just go. I've got to have. No, you've got to go to work. You can't sit up all night and drink. I can on Friday and Saturday. Maybe Sundays, but gotta go to bed. Gotta go to bed. Gotta get up. Gotta go. The world expects you to perform as a normal person, as if you were a puppet on a string or a little. What is the old ones? Punch and Judy show. But no, look around you. Everybody you see's got this little spark of madness. Some of them hide it away. Some of them revel in it. Some of them use it as just another tool in their workbox. And some of them kind of take it a little bit too far and have to be restrained for everybody's good, not just their own. The tricky part is which everybody gets to decide.
True.
What's
It'll-
funny is on my way home, because after work I ran out to Meyer to pick up the corned beef because apparently the Instacart shopper could not find any corned beef at Kroger yesterday. I think they probably weren't looking in the right place, but hey, it was an excuse to go to the only store in the area that actually carries my beer. So, but the fuck? Sorry, something just went by very quickly outside my window, and I'm like, something that large should not be moving that quickly in my parking lot. Anyways, on the way home, I was thinking, I would rather be broken like I am than be normal, because being broken, I have a hell of a lot more freedom than a normie does.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and you shouldn't. I know you're not. You shouldn't look down on people that are not broken.
And again,
I
I
know you're
wasn't
not. I
saying
know you're
that I
not.
wasn't. I'm just saying, if I had my druthers, I would rather be the way I am because I have more freedom than they do. I do feel sorry for them somewhat because they have to stay within the lines, and I get to go, fuck it, you know.
Where we're
And
going, there are no lines.
Exactly.
exactly, I really enjoy my mindset and being the shades of insane that I am, because again, when weird stuff starts to happen, I don't have to make it make sense and it break me. I am already broken, so I can be like, hey, cool. All right. Where's this going to lead us?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think, well, there was the old cliche of there's a fine line between genius and insanity. And then somebody said, "Yep, I tightrope walk that all the time." And somebody else said, "Yeah, I skip rope with that line." And basically, I don't think there's a line. I think there's more of, well, I don't want to say spectrum because people will think that's something else indeed, but it's a much wider than a tightrope. It is a much wider. There's a sidewalk, and sometimes it goes to Sesame Street, and sometimes it goes to Halloween Town or someplace similar. Um, but there seems to be this point in common with the creative types that it's not that we're out of touch with the world. It's just we've kind of not given them our email address so that we can do our own thing, and they just get in touch with us accidentally, and usually it's spam. I've, I've got filters for that.
I
Only
was
kind of
thinking
filters
that
I got. Spam filters are the only kind of filters that count in my life.
reality only tends to be a cold call for a scam nowadays.
Really, it's. But the thing is, if you are creative, a lot of times the world wants you to tone it down and be more ordinary when you're not born to be ordinary. You're born to be a Steppenwolf song, There you go.
A magic carpet ride?
Born to be wild, honey. Born to be wild.
No, okay. I thought I was a magic carpet ride there for a second.
Oh, I'm leaving.
That's Ted's opinion.
Okay.
Would you guys expect less out of me? Just
No,
when you think
but
I'm not paying attention.
if this was tomorrow night, I'd have several more things I could add to that one-liner.
Yeah.
And you probably still would respect me in the morning going, he's fast. Got to it before Donna did. Yep.
How much is this going to come up tomorrow night?
Oh, I'm sure there'll be many
something
things that come
better.
up tomorrow night.
Just wait.
Oh, Rich,
Joe.
I'm so glad.
Oh, Rich.
Although technically tomorrow it will be, but
Well, it's technically tonight, but we still got about another 45 minutes or so before I can go to bed before I go to work in the morning, and try and pretend to be normal for 8 hours.
Not over here. I have no clue what's going to happen, but no, buddy, leave that alone. Sorry, I'm not even going to go there. Let's just say I have cats.
That explains a lot.
Without our twisted minds taking that anywhere.
too late.
Where's the fun in that?
Too late.
I was trying to be heavish. I mean, Lord knows my girl cat already went, hey, look, here's my nipples tonight.
Oh, wait.
Pixar, it didn't happen.
Just replay this.
Never mind. I wouldn't be able to look anyway. My wife gets jealous.
He's over here. Project.
So,
Over here.
speaking of nipples,
Nice segue.
so Crow got Misty and I, because we've got Crunchyroll, because I like anime. You know, we got Crow into anime through like Princess Mononoke and Ponyo and stuff of that nature. So we had Funimation, but Funimation got bought by Crunchyroll, so all of Funimation stuff is now part of Crunchyroll.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, why don't we just get Crunchyroll now, so that we'll have everything? So we did that, and Crow's been trying to get us to watch Chainsaw Man. So Chainsaw Man he's a devil hunter who has a little pet pig dog chainsaw thing that he gets murdered, and the pig dog chainsaw thing becomes his heart. So now he's got a pull cord in the middle of his chest that he pulls, and then basically a chainsaw rips out of his head and his arms, and he does massive damage to things and stuff like that. The guy is such a perv, it's not even funny. He's willing to do these other things just so he can touch a boob. So Misty's just sitting there, she's like, and I'm like,
Now,
all right.
What worries me is in Japan, this shit makes sense.
Yeah.
What did we put in them damn bombs? Seriously, I think we would have been better off if we hadn't never invented them. Then again, I probably would have missed out on Astro Boy.
But hey, I mean, you know, if it wasn't for those bombs, you know, and one of them going off in the Arctic, you know, Gamera never would have woke up. And
Ooh. Yes, indeed. And my birthday boy, he and I do share a birthday.
Gojira!
Exactly. He's only 2 years older than I am. 3, maybe.
Roundabout. So yes, I watched a lot of old good TV as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it's cheesy as all hell. Um,
Yeah. Um, as much fun as the old English dubs of things like Astro Boy and Tobor the Eighth Man and Speed Racer and just, there's bucket loads, G Force, all of that. The stories got dumbed down when they got translated, just a hair.
oh
Some of
yes,
them, some of them, a whole lot, but some of them
yes.
just a hair.
Especially all the Gatchaman stuff as they got translated and readapted for the U.S. and they readapted Gatchaman 4 different times for the U.S. There's actually a live action Gatchaman too. And for those
I'd
who
like
aren't
to see
familiar,
that.
Gatchaman is Battle of the Planets. I will look on my hard drive. I think I should still have it. And if so, I will put it on a flash drive and bring it down for you at
Ooh,
at Hallowcon.
I will have to bring a external hard drive to record stuff into. And oh, I habitually bring this little toy, and it has everything that I've been able to get my hands on that has to do with Doctor Who from 1963. Everything.
And how much space of Doctor Who is that? Because I will
300,
probably
300 gigs.
300 gig.
Yeah, if you buy a 500 gig drive, you can do it easily, and it takes several hours to copy. But then we will have several days. So, and I have been offering this to people for years, and some people have taken me up on it. Now, it's not absolutely everything because the photo snap reconstructions I do find very painful to watch because they are still photographs from a TV set from somebody who was watching the episode with an audio recording of indefinite quality. There are things I've got a couple of uh, the animated reconstructions of missing episodes, but everything that is recoverable live from 1963 on up to the last episode that was shown on BBC recently is all there. And it's in my own little special file format so that, but it's not file format, but the naming protocol so that you can either watch it all in order from the very first instant it was on screen to the very latest instant it was on screen, or you can look for the uh, show title and season and locate it that way if you so desire. Like I said, the ones that are reconstructions of the missing episodes are not the most fun things to watch, but they give you an idea of what it was before it vanished and have helped people do the animated reconstructions of things, which those are variable in quantity. Yes, indeed. Some of them are excellent. Some of them are a little simplistic. not quite as high production values as other animated reconstructions of things, but it's worthwhile. And then there are um, making ofs and confidentials and spin-offs, both successful and failed. There are certain parts of Torchwood that I will not watch. Well, most of Torchwood I will not watch a second time. That was a little bit more intense than I really wanted to turn into a frequent rewatch. But there are certain aspects of Torchwood which definitely I
The
would need
first
to
couple of
watch.
seasons were rough. The Day of the Dead was a decent one. I liked that arc,
Mhm.
and I don't remember if there was one after that.
That was the one where Captain Jack became mortal.
I believe so. That's also the one where um, they're in the U.S.
Yep,
and
yep, yep.
someone makes a comment about pants, and uh, was the character's name Gwen?
Gwen Cooper.
Started freaking out, and they're like, "No, no, here in the U.S., pants means pants, not
Trousers.
underwear." Yeah.
Hmm. Yep. That would be the last one that has been produced so far. Um, it has been hinted that there may be a revival. We shall see. Nothing has been filmed yet. There's also Class, the Sarah Jane Adventures, the Sarah Jane Christmas special with K9, um, comedy things, the crossover with EastEnders. Uh, yes,
They had a crossover with EastEnders.
they had a crossover with EastEnders, and it's a multi-doctor story.
Oh Lord.
It's
Um,
not canon, although some people think it is. So, hey, depends on your idea of what canon is, or if canon is even important to you. To
I
me,
do like the Rowan Atkinson
it's in
red
there.
nose.
Hmm. Curse of Fatal Death. Got to say, Joanna Lumley makes a quite fine doctor. And those Dalek bumps. Anyway,
Anyway.
yes. Get me off track here.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be there. Got the laptop. I'll be bringing the laptop. I'll be bringing the external hard drive. Like I said, uh, 300 gigs or thereabouts is what's on the Doctor Who drive. Um, a, a 500 gig drive, it would cover everything and probably more, depending on what all I get to add to it, because I've got a friend that gets me downloads about an hour after they actually show up on the BBC of new stuff.
Nice.
Well, sometimes he waits a day or two before he uh, tells me he's got it, but he can get it within an hour or so. And I'm not looking for DVD quality, so I want the file size to be a little bit smaller, so it's broadcast quality. And Sometimes it's a little fuzzy. Sometimes it's a little weird. Depends on where he got the source recording from.
Sorry.
How did we get 19 comments in the private chat? I mean, seriously.
Oh.
Who's in there?
Oh.
Oh,
If I click on it, I'll knock myself out.
yeah, somebody should mention because I'm so busy talking I didn't hear the ding.
What? Oh,
Nothing going on.
Oh,
I built this thing that goes ding and
this took 26 minutes.
microwaves popcorn at 500 yards. And no, when I get talking, and Chris can testify, when I get talking, I'm not paying attention to anything else.
Why do you think I normally monitor the chat? And I'll mention somebody's name when I see them. Because y'all get talking and y'all totally ignore it.
Well, I mean, it's not, never mind the furthermore, I'm not obligated to show every comment in the chat.
I didn't say it was, but there's some people that like bring up good point and they're like, y'all didn't see that, did you?
Nope.
And then I'll speak up and say something.
So how
Sorry,
you doing, Chris?
I'm playing with the new toy I got. Joe. Never mind. I'm not talking.
So you got Joe a new toy?
No.
Please
Joe
do
got my new-
share.
Joe got
Which
my
Joe,
toy.
we have more than one.
Yeah.
I'm not talking no more.
Why did I tell Michael about this? Oh my God. He gonna look at me like I just grew
horns and a third eye.
I was thinking more of a second head that looks more like the creature from the Black Lagoon than anything
Wait a
else.
minute. Third eye, second head. What the hell?
I'm a science fiction writer, or couldn't you tell?
There we go, Rich. Mm-hmm.
That or we're trying to describe the present that you got me. I'm not sure which.
Yeah, I
No,
did the
the
private
present-
chat just so we could have some of my comments not be broadcast.
Yeah, well,
Like the second one.
I'm not sure that I can actually show things from the private chat.
No, you can't, and it's not designed to. But I y'all were talking about stuff,
and you're
earlier
so grateful too, aren't you?
that popped into my head, and I'm like, Donna will get a kick out of that. Maybe Dawn, but Donna
If I
did.
click on it, then I can't get back. I knocked myself out of the room. Don't even. See, the drugs were kicking in pretty good when this all started, and now it's.
You were
They're
right
wearing
outside of Barstow, weren't you? Only a few people got that reference.
That's why I did it in private chat, so wouldn't bring up it's not the green room, because I knew it wasn't the green room.
Does it look like? Oh my God!
Never
I'm
stopped
about
us
ready to go
before.
to bed. Thank you. That's what I was trying to say, Donna.
Now is the wrong time to call for divine intervention, dear. It's a little late for that.
Not gonna help us here.
Besides, you are in a green room.
Yeah, she literally is in a green room.
You live in a green room.
No, just the living room is green.
Aren't you
Nothing
lucky?
wrong with that.
I gotta wait till Fridays. Ooh, drinking with the Davies. Hopefully that's gonna be so much fun.
Oh, they're starting that back again.
Tomorrow night, yes indeed. 7:30 Eastern time.
Yep.
Which means green room might be just a hair delayed, but
no, it'll be at the proper time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, as it's supposed to be. Although we've been opening up earlier for some of y'all drunk. I mean, some of you guys.
Accurate descriptions are so mundane, uh,
At times.
but accurate. No, and Ted and Christine rarely go over 30 minutes with that show, so
Hmm.
should be bang up on time.
Mm.
And hopefully they will both wind up in the green room too, because I miss them.
So will we miss her?
That too. I do miss both of them. I really do. Although Ted makes it very easy to pick on him, and I feel so guilty because,
Why should you? None of the rest of us do. Feel
well,
guilty
because
because you're nice.
me picking on somebody is like them waking up all of a sudden to find that they've had their legs gnawn off by a butterfly. It's totally unexpected.
Oh,
Yeah, I've gotten
so
to.
you're saying it's expected from the hedonistic fae here.
No, I'm saying people should expect me to gnaw their legs off like a butterfly, but boy, that
Um,
sounded weird. I'm going to have to work that into a story somehow.
I
Gnaw
got
their
a
legs
guy
off
in the
like a
world words one time so bad he didn't speak to me for over a month.
Who'd you do that to?
A guy I used to work with.
Ah,
He kept on, and I'm like, keep on, because when I decide you've had enough rope,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
Gonna
jerk
kick,
it twice
you're
and
going
you'll
to kick
hit.
the step ladder right out from under you. Yeah, I've
oh
done.
man,
I have. I've
and we
done
had a
that.
peanut gallery too.
It built up for years, and I
He
finally they hit me on a day when I was not in a good mood because there was
yeah.
stuff going on in the real world that I was not dealing with very well, and I was upset. I was just trying to go, hey, let me just kind of ease on by. Everything will be
buddy.
fine. And then basically it was the straw that broke the camel's back sort of situation. And I resorted to sarcasm and innuendo and several other utilities in my arsenal, and they were not expecting it and were not prepared for it and had no defense against it. And they did not speak to me again for almost 6 months. It was the best 6 months I had at work.
No, I know the feeling, but like I said,
in,
we had a
in
peanut gallery.
45 years, I treasured that 6 months.
We had a peanut gallery, and he was asking for help, and they're like, "No, we no," and somebody's like, "You can't come back from that." That's how it was actually over a month, but I know it was at least a good solid month. He just look at me and he almost start crying.
I can't pick on him no more. He got a smart mouth.
Yeah.
But Dan, to go back to you have to use the butterfly gnawing somebody's knees off in one of your stories. I mean, you've got an alcoholic barred scorpion. It's not going to be hard to work into something that you've done.
Montserrat. Montserrat.
Mm.
Oh dear. Did you ever read the freebie that I posted online that never made it into the first book? Because I wasn't finished writing it when the publisher decided to pull the trigger.
Not sure.
It's still there. It's going to be taken down when the second book comes out because it's the first story in the second book. But let's just say I'm glad Jerry Anderson's estate doesn't know about me. Because the punchline is in there. But the giant scorpion.
Sorry, my computer
evidently-
froze up for a second.
Oh, the giant scorpion rescued some folks that had run through a little cloud of black holes and thought it was an attack. And in order to save their lives, the giant scorpion had to pretend to be a character that would get me sued by the Jerry Anderson estate if they ever figured it out. Or maybe they would laugh about it. I don't know. What did I call that one? I don't think it was Against All Odds. That was a totally different one. I probably got it bookmarked. I mean, I like to read my own stories.
Well, aren't you just arrogant?
No, I write for me. I'm my target audience. I write the stories I want to read, but nobody else is going to write. And a lot of writers are like that.
That's what Michaela started writing. She wanted to.
Yeah, she wanted something that nobody was writing, but she knew what she wanted, so she started writing it. Yeah, It's exactly the same thing. Oh, come on now. Why are you making this difficult?
Because it's late.
No, it's because I can't find the bookmark in this particular browser.
Some things are just meant to be hard.
That's what she said.
As the bishop
Holding up
said to the
Rich's fake
actress.
note.
You're holding up Rich's note like I was Tockert's books during the opening of his show.
I heard that this is big stompy robots.
I knew I forgot one, damn it.
Oh, I forgot simple sword.
Yeah.
Well, considering how much notice you had, you did pretty well.
I thought it was pretty cool, honestly. As much as we give each other, everybody crap back and forth, it's like, yeah, you needed somebody, who was somebody there.
Yeah.
I always tell him if he runs into an issue, just shoot me a message on Facebook and I'll hop in and start the show. Granted, that will probably happen at some point where I am on the job site, which means you guys are going to be in for one hell of a show opepening.
Oh.
And there will
Wait
be
a
no
minute.
chance that Nick ever gets monetized.
You okay, Donna?
Oh man.
I would say that might be worth the risk, actually.
I had a sneeze. On my nose it did.
Oof.
Yeah. That's not fun.
Hey, Dan, I think there's someone scratching at the back door.
Oh, I hate it when that
Ding.
happens.
He
Ding.
wants back in.
Ding, ding, ding.
I'm not attempting to do anything to anyone's back door.
You're not fooling me, young man.
I dinged for you, though.
Oh no, not the green room.
Now I'm thinking about Deep Purple's knocking at your door.
Oh shoot.
Some might even say it's knocking on heaven's door.
Yeah. Well, it might be
Did
Deep
we ever tell you
Purple.
guys about the summer of deep white purple snake? There was a
Deep
summer
white
that we listened.
Deep white purple
Yeah.
snake?
Does
Yes.
this involve squealing from all orifices?
No. This has to do with David
More's the
Coverdale.
pity.
It probably Deep Purple with David Coverdale and White Snake is.
Right. We had this whole summer. This was just like a few years back that we fought anything we could with David Coverdale, whether it was Whitesnake or Deep Purple, and his stuff from the 70s was really bluesy sounding. I liked it. The Whitesnake, 70s Whitesnake, so much better than the 80s Whitesnake. But we referred to that as the summer of the deep white purple snake.
Mhm.
I think that's a pretty apt description, actually.
Well, the funny thing is, Deep Purple had Richie Blackmore, who left to form Rainbow, and David Coverdale at one point in time. And just there's quite a little bit of
Didn't
musical
Blackmore
heritage
also
there.
go on to do a folksy
Yes, he's kind of got a
Blackmore's
renaissance. Yeah, Blackmore's Night.
Because I listened to a lot of their stuff, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
So is
his
it
love of medieval music and his wife's love of medieval music.
Well, I'm just glad people are starting to realize that the 70s was not all disco.
It's not.
No.
And,
But
and,
that's-
and the
that's
Country
what a
and
lot of
Western in there
people,
too.
that's what a lot of people, when you say 70s, they go, oh, disco. No. Rolling Stones, Rod Stewart, Ozzy Osbourne, just to name a few.
Led Zeppelin, Rush.
By the way, Chris, ditto.
Yeah, y'all want to call them people disco? You go right ahead. We'll see what happens to you when they hear about it.
Well, I thought it was funny. That church that's all the time protesting every little thing that turns around. They usually got a huge contingent somewhere. They decided they were going to do a protest at Jeff Hanneman's funeral.
I bet that went over really well.
They didn't stick around long. He was, I believe, was Slayer or Pantera, one of those bands. Very hard metal.
Oh, yeah.
And the bikers and the metalheads and all that, they weren't going to put up with.
I would have paid to see that.
Oh, yeah, that would have been great.
I would have paid with my own money to see that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I don't know who the dumbass was that planned that one, but they really screwed the pooch on that one.
It's because people do stupid things when they think that they're above everybody.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's one thing you don't want to do is protest somebody that's been in a metal band that's died at their funeral.
That's the thing. The metal community, if it's like within the metal community, it's kind of like us, where it's just like you stick up for each other, but somebody else wants to step in and be like, you're bad because you're metal. Then it's like, oh, we're going to go arm in arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on, baby.
Mm-hmm.
It's like siblings.
I can say what I want to about them, but you better not say a damn word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really.
It's like
I'll bitch about them and I'll smack them across the head and I'll do this, but I mean, you fart 20 feet away and it wafts across and offends their nostrils, and I'm kicking your ass.
yeah, it's like the Megadeth people can insult the Metallica people and vice versa. But you have anybody come up and say anything about, yeah, they're
Pat
gonna.
Boone was the best, motherfucker.
You metal people are all just Satanists, and all you do is.
And the bad part about it is the band probably has a nice legacy and all, but Jethro Tull should have never won the first hard rock heavy metal category Grammy.
Don, someone ever said that Satanist line to me, I turned to the person beside me and said, I found our next sacrifice.
That's funny.
What you do is you look at them and go, "Are you a virgin?" And if they say no, look at the person next to you and go, I guess we're still looking for our next sacrifice.
Yeah.
If they say yes,
Brother
then proceed
Malachi,
with your life.
There it is.
you're in charge of the
to
goat
introduce
blood
you to
for
some folks.
tonight.
What was that? I guess I'll start talking at once.
You look at someone and go, Brother Malachi, you're in charge of the goat blood for tonight. How old are you? The eyes are the right color.
Well, that
Yeah.
was the infamous line from the Lost Boys. You try and find a 15-year-old virgin in California. Especially Southern California.
But oh yeah, I used to get in trouble a lot. In fact, I get in trouble from Misty because I want to hang a sign on our front door that says, "No, thank you. We have a god, and Cthulhu is a very jealous god." She's like, "We do not worship Cthulhu." I'm like, "The sign doesn't say we worship Cthulhu. It's two completely independent statements.
Yeah.
That are
You
just
know,
put together on
we
the
have a
same
god, and Cthulhu is a jealous god. Doesn't say that we worship Cthulhu. It just says Cthulhu is a jealous god. So
And it doesn't say that your God is Cthulhu.
Yeah. We have we have one of those signs that says no solicitors, yada yada yada. And I wanted to add on the end, we found Jesus and he's pissed that you lost him. And Carl won't let me.
Oh, you're
Ted
giving
wants
me
to go try.
Now I gotta order more door hangers. Damn it!
I now
We have
want
the
to
no
make
solicitor sign,
door
but
sign.
Ted wants to add it on there. It says that solicitors will be shot, survivors will be shot again.
no solicitors unless you got big hoots.
So I did a wood burning. It's actually, I think, still hanging on our front door. It says no solicitors. We know who we're voting for. We found a god. We're not interested in what you're selling unless you have Girl Scout cookies.
That's true.
Our vacuum cleaner works fine.
Yeah.
The day of my brother-in-law's wedding, his first one, my mother-in-law decided that day she was going to tell us she was going to join the Church of the Latter-day Saints. And Carl said, well, that's just fine. You come knocking on my door on Saturday morning now, it's going to get shut in your face just like any other. When she learned that we were learning German, she found Book of the Mormon in German and gave it to us.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. It is. It would be nice if we had it in English so that we could figure out what the heck was being said.
At least one person saw my comment in private chat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, I forgot I'd scrolled up to my second comment. The one that Donna got a kick out of, I don't know if Dawn saw it or not.
I
If I
did.
go to look at my chat, then I close out of the room.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll look at it before I.
Mosey on out of here.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna head out. I know there's only 10 minutes left, but I need to go take some more pain meds.
I just hope Dan's all right.
I'm pretty sure he just went down the hall.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure that happened, but you
Lindsay's asleep. He's got to go through the closet.
know. There he is.
No, with Lindsay asleep, I have to go down the hall and avoid the closet because the closet's in the bedroom.
That's it.
Yep. Turns out I had to meditate for a few moments. So it was totally unexpected, but Lindsay's a good cook. There's metabolic debris.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's an astounding statement right there. Metabolic debris.
Especially when you weren't on camera.
I do believe I've just discovered another insult for somebody's rhetoric I disagree with.
I dealt with metabolic debris twice within an hour earlier today.
No,
Rick,
that
you're
was
talking
more.
like me.
That was more of an explosive decompression, Rich, from the story.
Yeah, sadly, the core melted down. We did not, successfully eject it before the meltdown occurred.
I hate it when that happens.
Oh yeah.
I think explosive decompression applies to Joe Dog.
No, that's malice aforethought.
That too.
That's true.
Dynamite comes in small packages.
That's why I tell my wife.
That
all the
ain't
time.
dynamite.
That's
It's explosive, but it's nowhere near as much fun.
That's
as
nerve gas.
Yeah.
Apparently, we're always talking about different small packages.
Gets on my nerves anyway.
I was gonna say there's some
Okay.
people here that might be able to. Never mind.
Joe, for yours, that would be come from small packages.
Man, I'm telling you, Joe had gas so bad one time we were at the last Anachrocon, and you know how wide that outside area where they had all the cars and stuff like that out.
Mm-hmm.
We were out in all
had the
that
car start
open
going.
air. There were blackberries blooming, other
Not for
floral
long.
blooming, and I could still smell it 100 feet away from him.
And what's worse, you knew him well enough to recognize us.
Oh, as soon as we got out there, I started veering off. And like I said, with all those bushes, all that greenery to absorb the carbon dioxide and methane, it was still terrible.
You better hold the sword of Damocles over John's head, or there's going to be more pickled eggs at Hallowcon this year.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely, if John does that, Joe can put it in his refrigerator, but he better not touch it till his ass is home in Hickson.
Like that's going to happen. As soon as he knows it's going to upset you, he'll eat the whole jar,
Mm-hmm.
glass and all.
He better have some ass mints handy.
All of the ass.
Maybe we need to get an industrial sized bottle of poof.
I don't know.
Sorry.
Have you seen that commercial?
Yeah.
That guy sprays it right in his mouth. Like, that's gotta be water.
Oof.
Okay, guys, I'm good night. I'm
Have a
gonna
good
look
night,
at
Dawn.
chat in case I lose you guys. I don't know. Can I
Yeah.
talk? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you
Yeah.
just fine.
Okay. So as soon as I get
Oh.
done looking through these, then I'm gonna go.
All right.
Okay.
Why, there's a
Well, thank you for
Fun.
being here,
Oh,
Dawn.
Ooh.
you're welcome. I saw Chris's comment now.
He's proud of that one.
Hmm.
I made Donna smile and laugh.
Any ought to be.
He'll probably copy and paste it into the secret humor group.
Oh.
Really,
Yeah.
Joe?
Oh, now I put the thought
What?
in his head. There he goes. I can see
Yeah.
it. He's got that
Hard
devilish
drive.
look in him eyes again. Ah,
But yeah, when y'all were talking earlier, I'm like, I gotta say that in private chat.
oh.
Because as Rich likes to say, it's not the green room.
See, I was okay. I was playing with the toy that I got from Michaela that Joe made that I could play with. Nevermind.
No,
God.
well,
Innocently.
yeah.
Oh Lord.
You could play with innocently.
Yes. So I was
I
doing
made
some.
sure her laptop was up and
Is
running
that the
smoothly,
toy
is
I'm
what she's
thinking
trying to
of?
say.
That's the nicest way to put it. Yes. Thank you, Joe. And on that note, I will talk to you guys tomorrow
Before we
Night.
think of anything else.
night.
Good
Shut
night,
up.
Good
darling.
Good night.
Good night.
And it is now for me an hour into St. Patrick's Day, so
Yep. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone.
now I gotta
Happy
find a
Irish
green
Day.
shirt. Work tomorrow is going to be well. I've got a green coat at work. I can wear that, but it's too thin because it's going to be minus a billion degrees.
Yeah, Misty was freaking out because she didn't have anything green. And then one of the Celtic crosses I made was green and orange. Because technically I'm supposed to wear orange because I'm descended from Irish Protestant. So technically I'm an orangeman. And of course, nobody understands this. Nobody gets this. One person finally got it.
Completely.
Well, I mean, the people that are around me and stuff like that. One person finally got it after like 30 some years of me always making sure I was wearing orange on St. Patrick's Day. So I told Misty, I'm like, technically, since you're married to me, I'm Irish Protestant, we would be wearing orange, not green. But people aren't going to understand that, so you want to make sure you wear green too. Because she's like, the people I work with can be somewhat childish, so I don't know whether they're going to start pinching me if I'm not wearing green.
In that situation, the best defense is a good slap across the face with an unwanted pinch.
Mm-hmm.
And
Someone pinches
interestingly-
me on the job site tomorrow, they're going to find themselves in front of a truck. Not necessarily behind our wall.
I used to piss people off because they used to start coming for me, and then I would just hold up my cross. I had a Celtic cross that was silver and had a green marble from Connemara, Ireland. So every single day I was always wearing green anyway.
Well, interestingly enough, the biggest St. Patrick's Day parades are in the United States and not Ireland.
Yeah. And corned beef and cabbage, the traditional boiled dinner and stuff like that, that's completely American.
Yeah.
It's from the Irish immigrants coming over to America and looking for a cheap cut of meat to do. And then, you know, just like Cinco de Mayo and everything else, it's, you know, U.S. folks are like, oh, it's a day to get drunk. So.
Oh, it ends in Y. Okay.
Yep.
Well, and being pagan, it's Irish Day for us.
Yep.
Well, being redneck, it's Friday. Paycheck went in the bank Thursday is Friday. Ain't got to work Saturday or Sunday. Party time.
Yep.
Let's have a parade.
So is tomorrow night going to, or Friday night going to be the Irish green room?
Who knows?
I have to talk to Uncle Carl about that.
Might be the Celtic green room.
Yeah. Either works.
As long as Nick doesn't go in and accidentally name it something weird first.
Yeah. I don't know what was up his whatever that one night, but Carl goes in to make the room and he's like, there's already room there. Nick had made a room and was sitting in there like, it's only 6 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sometimes you just gotta rush in where angels fear to tread.
Yeah, and he is an entity all to himself.
But the Fae and other cryptids are always there.
True.
Mm.
Oh, Lord.
He's not going to help you here.
He might have to. I don't know if I could plan a cryptid
Stranger
cookout.
things have happened.
You don't know if you could plan what, Dan?
A cryptid cookout. A cookout for cryptids, not of cryptids, but for.
I'm beginning to wonder.
If it's of cryptids and you burn it, does that become cryptid crunch?
That's probably a question.
And on that note, Dan should probably run the credits.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Will
Good
is
guys.
so disturbed with you. Good night, everybody. Thank you for being here. I would quote somebody and say something, but we've already had enough blue material for tonight to last about 6 months. So,
well, and since it's St. Patrick's Day, it should be green material.
Yeah, that's what I got behind me.
So does that mean that it should be blue material done in a pissy manner?
How about blue with a greenish tint?
That's just turquoise.
Or teal.
Oh, son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?
Good night, Gracie.
Go good, guys. Good night, everybody.
I just about clicked the intro again.
Wouldn't be the first time.
No, it wouldn't. That's the problem.
Transmission overload. System will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down.